My name is Allison Nakamura-Netter. I am the Executive Director of ZanaAfrica Foundation. And I just have a few slides here to really ground you in our work and our social and behavior change communications content. So it'll talk a little bit about who we are and what we do, kind of our impact, our approach, and then our plans for going forward. So, just to kind of ground you in what we do, ZanaAfrica exists because I really want to kind of ground you in our why. So we exist because at puberty, girls' worlds really begin to narrow while boys' worlds widen. So rather than adolescence being this time of hope and opportunity, it's really a time when girls, opportunities begin to contract and gender inequalities begin to show up. And this is very much so evidenced in the numbers for the girls that we serve in Kenya, is where we work. Across Kenya today, currently, 40% of teen girls are either pregnant or have begun childbearing. 25% of girls drop out of school by the time they reach puberty, and girls' HIV rates are 4 times that of boys. And ZanaAfrica has really existed since 2007 to address these challenges and to really help girls safely navigate puberty and unlock their potential. And we do that through journeying with girls through adolescence. So we really hold their hand and walk alongside them during this, very joyous, but also very, very challenging time in their lives. And we do this through a holistic 3-part intervention. So I'll just take a few minutes to kind of walk you through the 3 components of our intervention. So we have sanitary pads, rights-based reproductive health education. It's really health and life skills education. And then we have our social and behavior change communications content. So first and foremost, in our after-school clubs, we give out sanitary pads to meet the material dimensions of period poverty. The sanitary pads we give out are called NIA pads, and these are pads that have been designed through the input of girls and in our community and the beneficiaries that we serve. On the pad package itself, we have really kind of inspiring language. There's words like beautiful and powerful and confident, because we really want girls to feel proud of their bodies, proud of the changes that they're going through, and really to be able to address kind of any internal stigma and any external stigma they have with menstruation. On the pad package itself, we also have a hotline of phone numbers. This is hard to see, and if we were in a room together, I'd be sharing this with you. But on the pad package itself, there is a hotline with reproductive health and rights educational information that girls can call into to get support. So there's information on contraception, on what to do if you're a new mom, how to seek just additional reproductive health supports. So that's been really great. We call this a fast-moving educational good. And we piloted this program with the hotline number back in 2019. And since we launched it, we've had about 10,000 users engage with this network. And we're constantly working to iterate this design and make it more accessible. So we give out these pads through after-school clubs, which is really exciting. And with the pads, we give out underpants, and then we also deliver rights-based reproductive health education. So we have developed, with the support of the Gates Foundation, this incredible 25-part curriculum, which it's hard for you to see because of the background, but embedded throughout this curriculum is social and behavior change communications content. I'll talk about our comics in a bit, but you'll see here we have one of our comic characters there. And this 25-part curriculum is really designed to help girls and more recently boys talk about their reproductive health and rights. So we open with content on puberty and bodily changes, and then we get into kind of heavier topics like consent, gender, really all of the topics that are not covered within schools are really rarely talked about in families. So we've seen great success with this intervention. Again, it's a 25-part curriculum that is delivered through mentors in after-school clubs and paired with the sanitary pads. And then with that, we have this really fantastic social and behavior change communications textbook. It's called Nia Teen. It's a 5-part magazine that serves as a corresponding textbook to that curriculum that we have right there. So I'm just going to show you a pullout from one of these magazines. So this is Nia Teen, and this is one of the comics that from one of the later issues of the magazine that talks about a situation of date rape. So we use comic characters to really address these really heavy topics for girls. When schools closed in the time of COVID, at the very beginning of it, we tried to figure out what we're going to do. I know, a lot of organizations had to pivot, and what we decided to do was really to leverage our expertise in social and behavior change communications, content development, and we created a new comic series called Nia at Home. Nia means purpose in Swahili, and this is a comic that we created to address things like social distancing, to break down myths regarding COVID, et cetera. So we've developed 2 comics so far, and plan to develop 3 more. This first one focuses on COVID prevention. Then we have another issue on mental health and addressing anxiety and depression during the time of COVID. So that's been really, really impactful. One more thing that I want to add is that all of this intervention was tested in a randomized control trial from 2017 to 2019. So the Gates Foundation, we partnered with Gates Foundation, we partnered with Population Council to really test this intervention on 3,500 girls across 140 schools. And what we found is that if a young girl goes through our intervention over a 16-month period, you're going to see significant improvements in her overall reproductive health knowledge, in her confidence and resilience, and her whole sense of kind of self-efficacy. And ultimately, what we found too, which is really fascinating to our team and to our researchers, is that going through our intervention really helps to break down negative gender norms and helps to create more equitable gender norms for girls. So ultimately, we believe that if we can scale this intervention, which I'll talk about in just a moment, if we can scale this intervention first across Kenya and then across the continent, we really think that we can break cycles of poverty and help to create a more gender equal world. One additional thing that I wanted to mention, I've talked about the way that we support girls, but everything that we've designed is girl-led, co-designed, and created and community-driven. So everything from our pad package to our comics, to our magazines, to our curriculum, this is all created with a thought partnership of the girls that we serve. So everything we do is co-created with our beneficiaries. Now in kind of ZanaAfrica's trajectory, we've been in Kenya since 2007. We've been working with communities for a very long time. Now we're in the process of scaling our intervention across Kenya in what we're calling the Uwezo initiative. And Uwezo means to embolden and to empower. And that's precisely what we're doing through this intervention. So we're now in the process of partnering with the Kenyan government to and the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development to take this intervention, particularly the curriculum, the health and life skills curriculum, and embed it into the Kenyan educational curriculum. That's in the process of being revamped. We're starting doing this by, again, working with KICD, the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, to co-create what's called a virtual teacher training to train teachers and break down any kind of internal teacher biases that they may have in delivering health and rights education to girls. But our path is really to, again, partner with government, expand and scale throughout Kenya, and also deepen our work with boys with a goal to reach 200,000 youth by the end of this year.